Neo Vision Awakened Sieghard originally showed up with Ibarra in the Japanese version. As Ibarra was a limited global original unit that was already released, it's not a big surprise to see him with a different global original unit. I'm just glad he wasn't skipped like Xyle. Sieghard's Trustmaster reward is a materia that boosts defense and spirit by 20%, HP by 30%, your unit's limit burst gauge fill rate by 50%, and their earth resistance by 30%. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't quite have a significant spike. However, by combining each facet, it turns into a nice Trustmaster reward overall. His Super Trustmaster reward is a heavy shield of high defense, boosts your unit's HP by 30%, and boosts their earth resistance by a whopping 80%. It happens to be one of the best heavy shields in the game for physical tanks, and remains as one even today. Onto his active abilities. Marvelous Form 2 inflicts Charm, no it won't, grants Sieghard a Provoke buff, yes it will, raises your team's earth resistance by 100%, and grants them a 40% physical mitigation buff. Beautiful offense blinds the viewer from seeing just how effective the ability is with its beauty. A Chains of Stardust Ray applies a Provoke buff, boosts defense and spirit, grants a general mitigation buff, and an HP barrier, but the effects are apparently too beautiful to be described in proper detail. Sweet Charm cures any defense and spirit breaks on Sieghard, boosts your team's limit burst gauge by a nice amount, and gives them immunity to Charm. Mind Charm has a 5% chance of inflicting Charm, which is probably the single best part of this ability. No, Sieghard's entire kit! Stylish Form is a physical cover, who cares, 5% Charm! Dangerous Rose chains of Oreo Ray, and deals physical damage that scares off his defense. Lock Charm is Mind Charm, and there are literally no distinguishable differences between the two. Full Break Charm is crazy, raising the charm probability up to 20%. I'm gorgeous. Yeah, I know. Wait, that's an actual ability. Let's see. 30% Charm, grants Sieghard a Provoke buff, a 40% physical mitigation buff, defense and spirit buffs, and resistance to defense and spirit breaks. Super Wink, oh, we're back to the quality 5% charm rate. It also turns Sieghard into a temporary magic tank. Sexy Smile, oh, 5%, let's go! Also gives Sieghard a 90% magical mitigation buff. Earthbound deals damage that changes Absolute Mirror of Equity, and lowers the enemy's earth resistance by 120%. Glorious Guard grants Sieghard a 1-turn 90% physical mitigation buff, but there's no 5% charm, so why is it even here? He also has access to magic spells, and he has Stonega, Stonejia, and Barstonga, which can be paired with his active abilities. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, he gains defense and HP, alongside a Guts buff. He also gains bonus defense and spirit once his HP drops below 1%. He gets a big boost to his limit burst damage because that's what everyone wanted, and has a small boost to his limit burst gauge fill rate. He has a lot of stats that could really stand to be consolidated, which we'll see in his Brave Shift. He gets a lot more stats once you give him a shield and some armor, and has a 100% boost to his passive Provoke. Finally, his normal attack's been changed to the Most Beautimous Being, and apparently, being the Most Beautimous Being grants him the privilege of hiding the effect's details. Let's look at his Limit Burst. It deals damage that scales off his defense, and grants your team a 50% general mitigation buff. Very simple. Time to change forms. Sieghard's Brave Shift has a 4-turn duration and a 4-turn cooldown. Onto his active abilities. Fully Metal Body grants Sieghard a 75% general mitigation buff, a 80% physical mitigation buff against human enemies, and activates a physical cover. Reviving Shield grants your team a 50% physical mitigation buff against human enemies, a 50% general mitigation buff, a 50% physical mitigation buff, a 50% magical mitigation buff, and a re-raise buff. Earth Grunt can be used once per battle. For 1 turn, Sieghard grunts, imbuing Earth onto your enemies, and raising their team's Earth resistance by 100%. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, he gets a Guts buff. He still retains his limit burst damage, but his passive Provoke has lowered to 50%. His normal attack's been changed to Chain of Absolute Mirror of Equity, grant your team a 40% general mitigation buff, and raises their Earth resistance by 80% for a single turn. He gets additional HP and equipment defense and spirit when he's holding a whip, and automatically absorbs Earth attacks. He also has a significant HP and MP regen, alongside a big limit burst regen as well. Speaking of which, let's look at his limit burst. It deals earth damage that scales off his defense, and activates an area effect that raises his beauty by 1 bajillion %. Let's rank Brave abilities. I'd prioritize fully metal body for better mitigation buffs, sweet charm for more limit burst crystals, and you don't even have to raise beautiful offense. Even though you can't see the extent to what the ability accomplishes, the effects themselves don't get better. Only its damage output rises. And Sieghard certainly won't be pivotal for damage. So how good is Sieghard? His Neo Vision Awakening gives him more stats and stronger versions of his abilities, but doesn't really change who he is at his core. Still, additional support is always welcome, even though Sieghard won't always be your go-to unit as a limit burst filler. Sieghard was already an impressive physical tank even as a 7-star unit, which is why his new actives and passives aren't too game-breaking. His Brave Shift turns him into a better tank, especially against human enemies and earth attacks. He also gains a hefty amount of mitigation buffs, though with improvements to white magic, you're likely not lacking any sources of mitigation anytime soon. Overall, Sieghard remains a strong physical tank, but doesn't have the stats or abilities to consistently stand out from the rest. That's not to say he doesn't have his uses, as he certainly has niche applications. And then we can't forget about 5% charm. Game-breaking mechanic, that's for sure. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you can Neo Vision Awaken Sieghard. I actually already did. You've been watching my Sieghard, as the banner doesn't think ability awakenings are crucial for whatever reason. Maybe they're trying to say something.